Alright, hey, this is Jesse. Welcome back to Find My Wings. I was passed an article on Vice that was talking about all the reasons why people put loud exhaust on their cars. And in my opinion, they missed the two actual things that a reasonable person would claim is the reason for why they've made their car louder or a specific sound. Now, there's a third reason, which is just passion. A car sounds good. You're going to feel more connected to it. You're going to like it. It's going to just sound good. There's a lot of cars out there that sound really crappy. Especially if you look at any 80s, 90s GM 4-cylinders. Not good. Just sound bad. They're better to have the most muffler they can so nobody can hear that crap. But there's some really good sounding cars out there. If you want to hear an example of a good sounding car, look up Maserati exhaust sounds, look up Mustang GT 350 exhaust sounds, look up Audi 5-cylinder exhaust sounds, 2JZ exhaust sounds. So much good stuff out there, and there really is a difference, and some people won't care. It's the same with any hobby, computers, design, anything. Everybody has a preference. Some people understand it, some people don't. But two big reasons why you would actually want to have your car louder. Let's talk about it. Okay, so reason number one, and I'm keeping the window open here, so you might not be able to hear me as great today, but you can hear my motor there. Now, this is a manual car. This is a 6-speed manual car with basically no assists on it. And so when you're driving, you can hear what the motor's doing. Now, I've found myself in my old car, my Vauxhall, and this car driving by ear a lot of the time. And so you can tell when my revs are getting a little high here. Maybe not for a racetrack, but for daily driving, so I should shift. Now I can also hear when the motor is coming off of acceleration, deceleration, anything, while shifting gears. So when I'm going on and off the clutch, I can be a lot smoother just hearing this sound. And you're probably going to hear a lot of wind noise here, so here now, coming to a stop, I'm going to downshift and actually know what my car's doing. Now they're all pretty good shifts, because I can actually hear what my motor's doing. I'm not just relying on a tachometer or any computer system to tell me what's going on. I can hear it. I know what's happening. Now, this car does have a tachometer. My old Vauxhall Forenza does not have a tachometer, and so learning to drive that car, really the first guy I ever drove stick on, everything's by ear. I don't know what my motor's doing unless I listen to it. And I, in fact, don't even really know what the red line on that car is. So you just listen to it. When it gets gross and nasty and really high, it's high. You can shift, or you can use that power band if your car makes power at those high RPMs. So every car makes its power differently. Every car has a different sound. This car isn't particularly loud. It's just under that 90 decibel limit, but it's a lot louder than stock. So it helps. My Vauxhall, same deal. It's pretty loud, it's not too bad, you can live with it, but it's enough that you can actually hear what the car is doing. And in my opinion, it's a good sound as well. And so my next topic here is, have you ever actually seen an FR-S or a BRZ in real life? Or let's go a little bit further, a Mini Cooper, a Mazda Miata, something really small on the road. Now, if you're somebody that's into motorcycles, you'll probably know that having a loud exhaust on a motorcycle is actually really safe. Now, why that is when you're in a car, you're a big car, think of a Silverado or a Toyota Camry or something, everybody can kind of see that. If you can't, you maybe shouldn't be driving at the end of the day. But that's something that's visible, generally a color that's pretty reflective, reflectors all over the car, and it's just a major presence on the road. And people get used to that, especially in the country with farm trucks and tractors. Now, when you go down to a smaller vehicle like a Mini Cooper, an FR-S, a BRZ, something small, or at the worst case, a motorcycle, being loud's good, because people might not see you, or they might not think to actually check for you. Now, when you're loud, it's hard for people to ignore you. So none of this is rocket science. If it sounds good, it feels good, you have a connection to it. I'm a firm believer that you should get a car that's worth repairing. Cars need work, cars have costs. Get a car that speaks to you, so when it breaks or has an issue, it's worth repairing. We throw out so much stuff these days that I don't think anybody should be buying a car that they plan to get rid of or discard without really fully using that car. And every car has a different shelf life and different usage, of course. But having a good sounding car can help you really find that passion, that connection with your car to make it worthwhile, worth your money, and worth the actual materials that it's taking from the environment and the energy that it takes to drive the car and to produce the car. To actually love it and be willing to repair it, that's amazing. Now with shifting by ear and driving a manual car specifically, I think it's just an amazing help to hear exactly what the motor's doing. I can get through an entire day of driving without ever looking at my gauge cluster here. I'm going to say I look at the kilometers per hour, but that's something you can kind of eyeball too. Once you're really comfortable with a specific car and the roads that you're on, you can kind of tell how fast you're going. And the engine sound does come into that. So like in my Vauxhall Forenza, if I'm just cruising on a back road, my speedometer does this. You're going somewhere between 50 and 90. And so you kind of get used to certain realms. The days when it is more accurate or when I have a GPS speedometer going, I just get used to what the car sounds like at those speeds. And that's the exact thing that I'm trying to go for. So when I hear that the car is lower or higher, I'm figuring that I'm probably going slower or faster. Of course, that's dependent on hills and the running conditions of the car and stuff, but it is true. And of course, that last piece, a loud car can be safer. It can get obnoxious. Don't go too far. But a loud car can be safer, especially if you've been in accidents, if you have a really small car, if you live in a place with really ignorant or absent-minded drivers. That's just an extra added layer of people can hear you, and you potentially save your own life at least from doing something like that. So, you know, I respect what Vice was talking about, but I think they missed some of the points from an actual car enthusiast perspective of why you'd want a loud car or why you'd be okay with a loud car. So this is just my personal opinion, my personal rant. Thank you for watching. This is Jesse with Found My Wings. I have a ton of other videos that I would recommend that you go check out. I talk about lots of cool stuff, doing things to my 2016 Scion FR-S here, talking more about the experience of owning a car and growing up with cars and being able to really get involved with cars the way that you want to, which is the big theme of my channel here. And so I appreciate any likes, comments, subscriptions, shares. It really helps us have reasons and resources to be able to make more and better videos. So thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy.